The fact of the matter is, we have people dying. 45,000 people a year die from automobile accidents, 480,000 from cigarettes, 360,000 a year from swimming pools, but we don't shut the country down for that. But yet we're doing it for this.
That was Trash TV Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil McGraw, wondering why we're shutting down the country for this silly little thing like an incredibly virulent pandemic. Yeah. Now, he is following in the footsteps of Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz yesterday, and we'll play that video again for you later. Somehow, Dr. Phil sees what Dr. Oz said about sacrificing 2 to 3% of our population to get the kids back in school. And Dr. Phil takes a look at that and says, hold my beer. It's total trash. Total trash. Because you notice that the numbers that he is citing are wrong. So this was on Laura Ingram's show already. So you're on Fox News, strike one, right? Strike two, putting out these false numbers. So now before I get into that, he also added, there's a point in which people start having enough problems in lockdown that it actually create more destruction and actually more death across time than the actual virus itself. And then he starts rattling off things about the poverty rate and all that. Look, you can have a point, but here's the thing. Reopening the economy is not the solution to that. The solution to that is government intervention. A lot of countries around the world are paying people close to 80 to 100% of their salaries while they are home during this lockdown. Others are giving a UBI and guaranteed health benefits. What we're doing here in America, we're giving people $600 extra in unemployment benefits and then a one-time $1,200 check. Whereas, again, you go back to some of the other countries, they're doing rent freezes, mortgage freezes. They're doing far more than we are here in America, and we're supposed to be the wealthiest country in the world. So, yeah. So you want to talk about poverty, right? Well, the government's actually supposed to do something about that. And instead, it looks like the plan is shove everybody back to work as soon as possible so that we can have a second and perhaps even a third wave of coronavirus deaths and infections. Awesome. So now getting to the numbers, right? So you said 360,000 people die a year from swimming pools. Really? Oh man, I didn't realize swimming pools were such a virulent killer. Oh my God. Somebody ought to ban those things. Oh, right. Those are actually not the numbers. In fact, data from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention show that from 2005 to 2014, an average of 3,536 people die a year from unintentional drowning. So now that's not just related to swimming pools. That's any type of drowning. Lakes, rivers, pools, all that stuff. Hot tubs. Has anybody ever drowned in a hot tub? Probably. But I have no idea how you can do that. But anyway, it does happen, I'm sure. If you compare COVID-19 deaths to accidents of any kind, and, they're talking about car accidents as well. You know how many people died in a car accident? We don't shut down the country for that. Car accidents aren't contagious, moron. That's not how that works. I mean, it's a false equivalency. Even comparing it to smoking. Now, smoking does increase the risk of dying from respiratory diseases like COVID-19. That's absolutely true. And it makes it much higher, actually the risk much higher. But it's still not the same as contracting a highly contagious disease that we have no natural immunity to. But here's the thing. The entire reason that we are doing this lockdown, this economic shutdown, right? The stay-at-home orders is to flatten the curve so that our healthcare system is not completely overwhelmed and so that people don't die from not being able to access the health system. Right now, we're already stressed to the point of where our health system is starting to break down. We have shortages of ventilators. We have shortages of PPE. We have doctors and nurses that are getting sick. from coronavirus and dying. We have grocery store workers that are getting sick and dying. I know they're not related to healthcare, but nonetheless, it's important to point out that there are people all over that are essential that are dying from COVID-19. So social distancing, the reason that we have it, and suspending the economy and the stay-at-home orders is to try to reduce transmission of the virus so that less people have to overwhelm the hospital system. You make it easier for, the system right now as it is to deal with the sick. Overloading them and killing more people from lack of ventilators and all that, right? And now it's also meant to buy us time until we can develop and test an effective treatment and or vaccine. Urging the government to open up and people to go out, well, that's incredibly reckless. It is dangerous and it is stupid. And for people like Mr. Phil, by the way, Mr. Phil is not a real, he's not a doctor of medicine. He's not an immunologist. He's not a virologist, right? He's a clinical psychologist. He's talking out his ass. And the reason he is talking out his ass is because he wants to make more money. Remember, this guy's sitting at home. He's not doing speaking gigs. Speaking gigs make him anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million every time he goes and speaks at like a corporate event, right? He's missing out on the money, man. So yeah, open it up, he says. I don't give a damn how many people die. My bottom line is way, way more important than people's actual lives. They're garbage, trash, Dr. Oz. Now, interestingly enough, Dr. Oz, he did sort of apologize a little bit. On Twitter, he said this: I realize my comments on risks around opening up schools have confused and upset people, which was never my intention. I misspoke. Oh, you misspoke, did you? Really? Well, let's just watch and see what you said verbatim.
Yeah, I tell you, schools are a very appetizing opportunity. I just saw a nice piece in The Lancet arguing that the opening of schools may only cost us 2 to 3% in terms of total mortality. And, that's any life is a life lost. But to get every child back into a school where they're safely being educated, being fed, and making the most out of their lives with a theoretical risk in the backside, it might be a trade-off some folks would consider.
Oh, it might be a trade-off. It's a trade-off. Hey, let's get the economy opened up. Kids back to school at only the small cost of an additional few thousand deaths. No, you didn't misspeak. You said cringe and you got your ass called out for it online. But understand, this is how the elites think about us. They want to sacrifice us to the markets because our lives to them are literally meaningless. They don't care. We're just another faceless consumer to them. And so if some of us die, well, I don't care about that. Oh, no, I'm not worried about that because someone else is going to take your place and consume and make me more money. No, we should actually be listening to real doctors and not fake TV doctors who sold out for a few bucks. This is who they really are. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.